Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the brand new 2021 film, A Quiet Place Part 2. So if you don't know, A Quiet Place, the first one, released in 2018 and was directed by John Krasinski. This film is a follow-up, also directed and written by John Krasinski, and takes place directly after the events of the first film. So I'm going to keep this video a little shorter than usual because I didn't get a chance to actually see this movie in theaters. I desperately wanted to see this movie in theaters, but the government where I live has said that I'm not allowed to do that. So I was forced to pirate this film, and it was like 720p, someone filming the movie theater, so it was super blurry, it was very bad audio, and yeah, I didn't get the full experience of this movie, and so I don't think this review is going to do it justice. So when or if I get to see it in theaters, hopefully theaters open up within the next month or two, hopefully I'll get to see it in theaters, that's my plan. So if that happens, I'll give a more full in-depth review then, but as it stands right now, I just want to quickly get some of my thoughts out here right away. So as some of you guys might know if you've seen some of my other videos, in particular my favorite genre video, A Quiet Place, the first one, was my favorite horror film. And I rewatched it today because I bought the 4K, if you saw that on Instagram. I bought the 4K, I watched it today in preparation for seeing the second one. So I definitely still stand by that. I think that A Quiet Place is still my favorite horror film. And this film, while not as good as A Quiet Place, is still very good. As far as sequels go, most of the time, sequels are way worse. Like, that's just a given. And in particular, horror sequels, I've heard, I haven't watched many horror films in general, but I've heard that sequels in horror films are usually a lot worse than the original, which this one doesn't actually do. This movie kept a lot of what made the first one so great for me, which is the unique sound design and how we get some mute scenes when Millicent Simmons' character Regan, whenever it's from her point of view, we always get the complete lack of sound. I loved that in the first film. I think it's really cool how there's just no sound whatsoever. It really draws you into the character. And I think just overall, the sound design in general for this film is really good. And on top of the sound design, I think that the score is very well done. It's again very similar to the first one. The main set of musical motifs still runs through this film that ran through the first one. And I really did like the score in the first film, so again, I really liked it in this one. But again, there's points at which there's no score, just like the first one, where it's just pure silence or just like the sound of the creatures. I think that just in general, sound design is an aspect where these films really shine. So another one of the main things that made the first film really good for me was the relationships between all the characters of the Abbott family. And I felt like we didn't get as much of that in this film, mostly because John Krasinski's character died in the first one, so he's not really in this film. So that just kind of made it less of a family-centered story and more of just like a survival story, and it just wasn't quite as good. One thing that this film actually does better than the original, in my opinion, is not resorting to jump scares. The first one still wasn't terrible for jump scares, like there's maybe like 4 or 5, and for the most part, it did a really good job of just building suspense through the sound design and just like seeing the monsters in the background. And this film continued that, but I felt it removed a lot of the jump scares. Like, I honestly can't really think of more than like 1 to 2 jump scares. A lot of the scares were just like suspenseful and then building the tension, so I really did appreciate that they didn't resort to jump scares like a lot of modern horror films do. In terms of performances, I think that Noah Jude and Millicent Simmons did really good again, and in the first film for me, Emily Blunt was really the standout, and I felt like she didn't really get as much to work with in this film. She was kind of sidelined to Cillian Murphy, which was kind of weird to me because like he wasn't even in the first film, and I want to say he gets more screen time than her, so it was a little weird to me. I didn't really like that she was kind of sidelined. I would have liked to see more of her, but yeah, just in general, she did still do really good. She just wasn't given as much to work with, and I would have liked to see more of her character. Something that this film did do really good was expanding on the world that John Krasinski made in his first film, where in the first film we kind of just saw their farm, and then we saw the one scene where there was a bunch of fires lit all around them. And we really expanded on that. You can tell from the trailers that they're going to explore the outside world and see what's going on past their sand paths. And yeah, I really liked the world building. I really liked to see how other people are surviving, what the rest of the world looks like, and just in general, I really like that aspect of the film. So in terms of the finale of the film, I'm not going to spoil anything because the movie just came out and I'm going to keep this spoiler free, but I really liked the finale of the film. There were several different storylines that kind of came together simultaneously. I liked that. It wasn't as strong as the first one again, but I still really liked it. It's still a really good film. I really liked the ending. It's just not as good as the first film. So in general, as I get to the conclusion here, because I don't really have a whole lot else I want to talk about right now, I will say this is a very good film. I enjoyed the film. I'm still going to go watch it again in theaters because I still, like I said, feel like I didn't get the full experience. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this film again in theaters so I can really appreciate the sound design and all the rest of that stuff. But yeah, as I get into the ratings here, I'm just going to give it a 1 score. I'm not going to split it up into entertainment and quality. My rating for this film is going to be an 8 out of 10. I think it's very strong. I would give A Quiet Place a higher rating of 9 out of 10, but Part 2, still a very strong film. Still a very good horror film, probably one of my more favorite horror films. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say today. I hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, don't forget to leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new around here, and yeah, if you want more updates on my videos, check out my Instagram, ntd_films. Thank you guys all for watching, and have a good day.